You're listening to Gwatney Unplugged on News Radio 102.9 KARN with SCOTT ROMINE, brought to you by Gwatney Automotive Group.
Hey, SCOTT ROMINE back here for Gwatney Unplugged. Hope you're having a fantastic Saturday. We're talking with Shawn Maves from Canada. He was Mr. Ontario. He qualified for Mr. Canada, and he just quit competition altogether at 24 years old. He's got a great story. He saw the dangers of steroids and everything that comes with that, and he's been very vocal in a lot of faith and fitness magazines and TV shows. Always great to talk with you, Shawn. Tell me, when people go to a gym these days, they're over there taking pictures of themselves. What is that all about?
Yeah, there's no question. Sometimes you wonder that today's gym seems more about posting selfies on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter than working out. Sometimes I wonder. I know myself, sometimes I bring the phone in maybe just to check messages. But, back in the day, 80s, 90s, I'll say, probably even before that, your basic reward for training was the training itself, or maybe if you're lucky, some kid will come on the street and say, "How'd you get those arms?" Like that was more the reward back in the day.
That's what you were after. Or for me, there would be like one or two other guys in the high school that were really lifting a lot, and it was kind of an unspoken competition. Who's going to be the stronger guy in school? Not who's going to get 1,000 likes on the picture on Instagram. Have you ventured back into a gym with this COVID-19 or not?
No, everything's shut down. I actually developed kind of a home workout routine at home. Since the lockdown, they shut down all the gyms up in Canada, probably the U.S. too, and everybody started designing these home workouts, and that's been the trend. Fox News says that 24% of all gym members aren't going back no matter what, whether the gym's open up or not. So I think home gym workouts are, here to stay to some degree.
80% of the people that make that New Year's resolution to work out, they don't go back either. Without COVID-19, they don't go back. A lot of them, as far as working out, one thing that I noticed that as soon as the gym shut down, man, like home workout equipment for sale on like Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist is just went through the roof, and it's unobtainable at like Academy Sports and in the other place. You cannot walk in and buy, a recumbent bike or weights or even dumbbells. They don't exist to even purchase. Have you run into that in Canada?
No, absolutely. When I heard news that my gym was closing down, I ran out to the Fitness Depot store, and I literally picked up the last set of weights, and things were going fast. Apparently still they're in short supply. I kind of went and designed a little makeshift chin-up bar and some adjustable weights, and the guys are doing that. They're buying the exercise band. My son, he's into working too, Joel. He's 23. He's telling me about all these exercises you can do with exercise bands. People are walking more and cycling and taking online fitness classes. I mean, I've been on Robbie Raj show down in Buffalo, WDCX. He has some great online classes, so the ladies and the guys are getting into that. So, the landscape's changing.
It really is. I mean, it's interesting when you say 24% of people are not going back to the gym. That's a lot of people that are just not dealing with it. I know ours are back open, but it's such a stringent process to, screening and all that to get inside. I could see why people are just going to turn to this home stuff. Can a person get into incredible shape just in their living room?
Yeah, there's no question. You could stay in pretty good shape. But here's some of the keys. I've kind of jotted these down for working at home. First of all, you may not be able to, buy all the weights that you're used to, but you can maintain training intensity. At the end of the day, it's about how hard you're working. Maybe you're doing some reps, maybe doing some body weight exercises. The key is to establish a mind-muscle connection. I've talked about that in Bodybuilder.com, Faith and Fitness Magazine. And maintain your high-protein diet. And I always tell guys this: look, if you're not as active, keep adjusting your carbs downward. Okay, so just keep adjusting. If you're less active, just keep adjusting downward. Those are the variables. Keep your protein high. You maintain muscle mass, but keep adjusting your fats and carbs down, and you'll look great.
Yeah, the diet is a huge part of it. For me, I find that eating at home and trying to eat low carb and eat healthy, that part is easier to do at home because you really cannot eat you can't eat fast food. You can't eat you can't eat out very much and get really what you need to be eating if you're trying to train or be in shape or lose weight. It's tough to do out and about. Have you found that in Canada? I would think
you're going to do probably better if you just stick to eating food at home. I think part of the North American diet issue is so much fast food. I mean, people just eating fast food, and the diet killers are the fries, the pizzas, and breads, muffins, and the sugar drinks. And half the time, when you go out in the town or something, you want a little treat. You want to treat yourself. You end up buying some foods maybe you normally wouldn't eat. So things are a little bit better if you control. It all starts with what you buy at the grocery store.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If you don't buy the junk and bring it home, you don't eat it. So that's what I find is
exactly.
I don't keep it at home, so I'm not eating it. If I'm out and about, I don't know if you've got them. Waffle House is a place where you can eat pretty low carb 24 hours a day. That's kind of my go-to if I got to eat out because, eggs and bacon and ham and salad, that is a place you can get away with it. But these other burger joints, you just can't do it. Just can't do it. Hey, I want to ask you, we talked about movies and stuff. Pro wrestling has always been a venue that highlighted bodybuilding, or at least from the 80s on. Is that as popular as it was back when you and I were growing up?
Yeah, it's hard to say because at the end of the day, people are fans of certain characters. I'll point to two eras. The 83-89 era, WWF, that's when they first came out with WrestleMania and some of those big events, and MTV started marketing it. So I think back in that era, I know for myself, the storylines and the characters were more developed. Hulk Hogan, Randy Macho Man Savage, Ultimate Warrior. And, back then, all that kind of stuff, crazy stuff, late night TV appearances. I don't know if you remember some of the guys would show up on Arsenio Hall and some of those late night shows, Jay Leno and that kind of stuff.
And they would stay in character. That's what was cool about it. They would come out not as themselves. They would come out as the Ultimate Warrior or whatever and stay in character for the interview. That's what I thought was fun. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they do that. I remember one appearance by Jim Hellwig, former Mr. Georgia, Ultimate Warrior. He shows up in his gear. He runs out on the set with Arsenio, and he starts throwing couches around.
Yeah,
and,
he does. Yeah, he did. That's right.
Crazy like that,
It's on YouTube.
You don't get that stuff anymore. Well,
and then you had a fun era from, I guess it was 97-02. Wrestling got popular again. And it was, I want to say that's called the Attitude Era. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I've read too. Yeah.
Yeah, and so people like The Rock really made. I think you had WWE versus WCW like head to head, so it was very competitive era, and probably one of my favorites. That got me back into it. I don't know if you followed those years or not, but a lot of people getting hit with chairs and ladders and other fun stuff back in those days.
Yeah, no, they were getting pretty creative in the late '90s. One thing I want to mention: the stunts. The stunts starting to get crazier and crazier over the top. And one of the stunts actually ended tragically in 1999. You may remember this. Owen Hart actually fell from the rafters in the Kansas City indoor stadium. My heart goes out to the fans and the family still grieving over that. And I think it was a cable or a harness broke. And I think the Hart family was actually from Calgary, Canada. They actually, I think it was a lawsuit against the WWF.
Yeah, killed him right. I mean, they get killed him instantly in front of the whole audience. I remember a lot of crazy stunts in those. Mankind jumping off of the cage match. I mean, those guys survived. They took some serious hits in the 90s.
Yeah, it was over the top. But then they say one of the best rivalries going was Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. And, he had some crazy antics, the TLC matches, tables, ladders, and chairs. Now, today, we fast forward today, some people think that, the popularity's gone down. I know on YouTube, the WWE still remains one of the most popular channels, but TV viewership's down and paid attendance is down. But a lot of people still like the wrestling. It's fun to see big guys throwing each other around in the ring.
It still is a lot of fun. Scott Romine here for Gwatney Unplugged. We're talking with Shawn Maves.
You're listening to Gwatney Unplugged on News Radio 102.9 KARN with Scott Romine.